Back with our special on the international races on the weekend, and we're down to the Singapore Airlines International Cup, $3 million race, 2,000 metres short course A, and a terrific international lineup. Many believe the strongest ever, and I certainly concur with that. It's a terrific field here, and we're looking at Myondra, and the French galloper comes here with a very good resume, Matt, and looks to be one of the leading hopes, I think.
Well, a horse who has run in the Arc twice, ran 6 behind Daydream going back to 2011. Most recently on a heavy track, beaten a long way, but that was behind Salimia. That was in the Arc. Now, last few runs haven't been too bad in the World Cup, ran 6, but we know a few horses have come through that race, and Red Cadeau beat it by a fair way. Before that good run in the Hong Kong Vase over there, late in the year in Hong Kong, behind Red Cadeau, was only beaten a half length or so. So high quality galloper, always has been campaigning against some really nice horses for quite a long time now.
The highlight video we've got for its past run is back in September of last year, the Prix Foy from Longchamp, and it finished a length off Evra, the Japanese champions. Really good run too. Couldn't quite get to that quality galloper, but showed that it's high class by almost getting on terms over the last furlong in that race.
Back on turf might be a good thing because it fairly lightly raced away from the turf, and it gets that surface here as we see Myondra go through its paces here, trained by Andre Fabre, and another representative here in Singapore for Rabzan Kadyrov. He's a nice horse. Any horse that can run 6 in an Arc goes very, very well. He has campaigned over further, 1.5 miles. We saw his last 2 starts over shorter have been around this trip. He ran over the 2,000 metres last time in the World Cup.
So that's his piece of work, just leaving the straight under track rider Martin Pearson. And we look forward to seeing it more during the week, and also on Sunday night. Barrier draws, of course, for the Singapore Airlines International Cup to be conducted around about midday on Thursday. So we'll know a little bit more then. It's certainly a nice looker. Myondra and its track work there. Doug Watson, the trainer. First of the two from the John Moore yard, and probably the better credentialed here, Military Attack.
Yes, nice win last time for Military Attack, and that was in the QE2, and before that he won the Premier Plate, and prior to that won the Hong Kong Gold Cup, so it's all going very smoothly for him. He looks as though he could be a pace influence. We saw him roll forward there 2 runs ago in the Premier Plate at Sha Tin, where he won and got a pretty easy run. And then last time he had a nice run in Transit as well for Tommy Berry, was able to beat California Memory. So his form is good. He's got 3 wins in a row now, and the distance looks good, and I think he's going to be a major player here, certainly. I think he's the more fancied of the 2 runners, Dan Excel being the other one, trained by John Moore. Dan
Excel coming through a 1,600 metre win in the Champions Mile at Sha Tin, so its effort was very strong. Both horses seem to come in pretty good form, and on Tuesday morning I caught up with George Moore. George, 2 runners. Firstly, Military Attack. How did he travel over?
Yeah, he's doing well. He's a bit of a quirky horse. He's eaten all his feed overnight. We're slightly down on weight. We're trying to put his weight back on that right now, but that's normal with a lot of the horses. We travel down with a partner, Dan Excel, so he's happy in the box, looking at another horse on the other side, which is great. They're keeping each other company, and Dan Excel's also, he's traveling like he's a professional, like he's done it before. He's settled in great. He's eating up overnight, and he went on the track nicely today without any problems.
Dan Excel, he won the mile race. He was always nominated for this race, but only got in after the mile. How's he going to go at the 2,000 metres compared to your other horse, do you think?
I think he's pretty versatile. He 1,600, 2,000 metres. He's just one of those horses. It's by Shamada, went over longer distances. So, if the pace is slow, he's going to dominate from the front, in my opinion. And he's coming into the race with great form. Very fit horse. Don't have to do too much with him. Just have to take him over maybe on Thursday with a nice, easy 3/4 breeze. But so far, we're very happy with him.
So if he's going to be up dominating, the other guy be back in the pack?
Military Attack usually comes from the back. He's got that extreme turn of foot. Of course, we'd like the pace to be slightly on for him. But either way, if it's slow or fast, or I think the horse is in great form coming off the Audemars Piguet 2,000 metre win, and couldn't ask too much more from him.
Now this is a horse I'm really looking forward to seeing, Matthew Pastorius, the German Derby winner and the Prix Gannet winner from just a few weeks ago. So seldom do we have a European Group 1 winner roll up in Singapore at its next start.
No, and Chin Chon, he's running the Prix Gannet a few years ago and wasn't able to win it. And of course, as we know, he won last year's Singapore Airlines International Cup. Just a really nice horse, 6-time winner. Won the Deutsches Derby as a 3-year-old, and he's gone on his way since then. And his last couple of runs have been the only time he's campaigned outside of Germany. A run at Ascot, of course, behind Frankel, and Cyrus Desagles ran second in the very same race. And then last time at Longchamp in Paris, he of course won the Prix Gannet. Sat about third in the run, had a nice run in transit, was challenged with about a furlong and a half to go, but he kicked clear. It was a strong win, and I think he's a horse still on the rise and a really promising horse coming from Germany.
Always difficult to assess how these horses are going to go on the tighter turning tracks here, Singapore and Hong Kong, when they do come out. But really good to have a horse with these sort of credentials turn up. Of course, last year we were to get Cyrus Desagles out here, and they pulled the pin on the trip at the last minute. But you know, these sort of credentials, you look at his run 2 starts ago, he raced against Frank, and you say, oh, well, that's good. And he was nominated for the race, but then all of a sudden to come out and win that European Group 1 and to turn up here really adds a little bit of class to the race, I think.
Sure does. Pastorius, another who looks to be one of the fancied runners here, and he's a 6-time winner from 12. Race last time was 2,200 metres. He has competed at Group 1 level, or won at Group 1 level now 3 times, which is not a bad feat. Wins coming at Hamburg, Munich, and last time at Longchamp, all at Group 1 level, and that's 3 Group 1s to his name.
Okay, we move on to Red Cadeau, and talking about well-credentialed horses, this guy has a very, very good resume. Of course, he won the Hong Kong Vase towards the end of last year, placed in the World Cup, and then placed in the tennis show up in Japan last time.
Yeah, his last 6 runs, Craig, have been in the UK, Australia, Japan, Hong Kong, Dubai, and back to Japan, and here he is at Singapore. So he's a frequent flyer. I thought maybe last time in the, or 2 starts ago, behind Animal Kingdom in the World Cup, it might just be too short, but he actually beat Meandre and the other horse coming through the same race, Hunter's Light. He beat them comprehensively past the post. I think the turf's obviously very good for him. 2,000 metres, you know, it looks to be, he doesn't want it any shorter, but he showed last time, or 2 starts ago, over 2,000 metres, that he can handle it okay. He'll certainly be strong at the end, and just a terrific horse, knows how to travel. And he was terrific 2 starts ago, and terrific again over 2 miles in Japan. Yeah,
it's going to have to be a pretty good training performance, I think, to freshen him up off the 2-mile run. As you say, he was brought back from the 2004 to the 2,000 metres, fresh up in the Dubai World Cup. But now we're coming off, only a 3-week break off a 2-mile race. He's a real serious stayer, isn't he? And whether the 2,000 metres will be a little bit short for him, we'll find out on Sunday. But the one thing in his favour, they do always go hard and fast in the Singapore Airlines International Cup, so the speed will be right on for him. Yeah,
he raced, you know, back in 2009, he ran over 1,800 metres, and then he went over 3 years never campaigning at under 2,200 metres. So he was sort of in uncharted waters there when he ran in the Dubai World Cup, but his run was fantastic. He's just look, he'll run a terrific race, there's no question. But whether they can get him firing against some of these horses who are perhaps more suitable over the 2,000 metres, and whether he's zippy enough coming off his 2-mile run remains to be seen. But it's great to have him here. He really adds something to the race, I think.
This is Hunter's Light for Godolphin. Always good to have Godolphin here. So he'd been Cyril, the trainer. They backed him into favouritism in the World Cup. Obviously, it was a little bit disappointing behind Animal Kingdom, but his form prior to that in Dubai was first class, and he gets back onto the turf, and he did win in Italy on the turf before he went to Dubai.
He did indeed. That was on a heavy track, wasn't it? And then he went to Dubai, as you say, and he had the 3 runs over there on the synthetic surface, a couple of wins, and then backed into favouritism in the race won by Inor Kingdom, the World Cup. Just a nice horse. He was a little down there, really, wasn't he? I mean, I thought he had a nice enough run in transit, but he wasn't really able to go on with it in the end, beaten 11.5 and had his colours well and truly lowered by Red Cadeau, who stormed into second. So he does need to fire, but he has acted particularly well on turf as well. I know his all-weather record reads superbly, but he has also won 5 times on the turf. If he can get back to the sort of form that saw him backed into favouritism for the World Cup, then he's got to be a huge player. But Red Cadeau beat him comfortably last time.
I'm sure many people will be happy to have Godolphin back here. Of course, they were very unlucky last year. City Star was scratched at the barriers. You know, it's good to have Godolphin butter up. They could have left Crunchy with a nasty taste in their mouth last year, and they probably did, but coming back, so good to have him back in Singapore. This is Mwingo. He's the Aussie who's going to stay on here in Singapore.
Well, it's interesting when you go through his record, and when you go through the resumes of all these horses, they've campaigned in so many different countries, but we talk about Pastorius, who won a Deutsches Derby, the German Derby, in 2012. This horse actually ran 4th in the German Derby in 2011. He's been a terrific horse. He's won a Doomben Cup, now with Michael Friedman here in Singapore.
He's a very seasoned traveller, coming from Germany, so can't be happier with him.
What about his form in Australia before you left home? This campaign, I saw his All Stakes run. It looked very strong.
Yeah, he's very good fresh, and we feel like the freshen up to 2,000 metres should suit.
What about the track work during the week here? Have you done much so far?
Very light canter on the poly track, and he'll have gallop Thursday morning.
Okay, how would you rate him? Is he up to the top-notch stays in Australia at the minute?
Maybe it's not the stays, but certainly middle distance, yes.
Okay, so on the weekend, you think the freshen up in the 2000 is going to be in his favour?
Yeah, we'd like to draw a gate first so we can posse up and be on pace, and he should be able to finish off.
Okay, you would have seen these races in the past. You need to be sort of a strong 2,000 metre horse as well, because they will go fairly quick.
Yep, and hopefully over the freshen up, he'll have that turn of foot at the finish.
Well, one of the locals, Flax, of course, he was placed in this race last year. It's a difficult horse to get a line through because he doesn't race all that often. Not quite sure he's going quite as well as last year.
No, I'm not sure either. But his runs haven't been too bad, and he didn't get a lot of luck in the home straight last time. He really didn't take a lot of part in the early speed battle. Happy enough from gate 1, Verensway, the last time to take a sit. As it turned out, he didn't get the run he needed in the home straight. Hard to get a line through him, but he's just third up. I wouldn't worry about that too much, and he might play a part as he showed last year.
Now, Lazar, very consistent horse, broke through for a good win in the Admiralty Classic. Placed in a Gold Cup a few seasons ago. Not sure he's quite there to win an international race, but he'll be about the place, certainly at the top of the straight.
He was really well placed, wasn't he, last time in that Admiralty Classic Stakes over the shorter trip. Look, he's done a terrific job here, and he's placed at a high level, but he's never really been able to crack it for a big one over here. I doubt he's going to start doing that at the highest level in Singapore. I think he'll run a terrific race. His recent trial was good last Thursday. He trialled behind Emerald Hill, so he's ticking over very well. He might be one to throw in the quartets at longer odds just because you know he's going very well, but class-wise, I'm not sure he's got the class to get him home here.
Looking forward to seeing Mullakalok tomorrow as well. It had just a lead this morning, so we don't have any pictures of it. It didn't really come out at all. This is Deep Pockets. He's racing really well. Nice run in the QE2 Cup. He hit the line as strong as anything, but whether he's got the class to win one of these and Ready to Strike, well, he's been the revelation, I guess, in the last 6 months in the staying ranks, Matt, but whether he's quite up to it as well, I'm not sure.
Well, I'm sure, a bit like Flax, he'll be pushing forward somewhere. I wouldn't expect Deep Pockets or Better Life to be too close to the pace, but he will be. And he did beat Better Life past the post 2 starts ago and was only a length or so off the mare last time, but Better Life second up had the measure of Ready to Strike. She's
an outstanding mare. Looking forward to seeing her again tomorrow when we look at all the track work, Matt.
Okie dokes. That's it for Winning Workouts.
See you there.